Hello, Nation of Tab. It's your boy Tom, and welcome to Tab Nation Automation. Today we're going to be doing a type of loop that's basically going to loop through a folder and your drive, whatever, wherever you're searching, your desktops, etc., and basically just seeing what's in that folder. And maybe we're looking for a specific folder. We're going to do this in two different ways. One way is going to be hard coding the path. The other one's going to be us looking for something specific or finding just kind of everything in that folder. So this is a great way. This has came up a lot, especially on Reddit, where people are asking how to basically just see everything that's in a folder, and if a certain folder or text file or whatever exists in that directory, do XYZ. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. So let's jump into that code, shall we? As you see, this is all the code I have. Down here I got F3. That's just kind of a quality of life thing, because this is looping. And if I'm looking in a folder that has a crap load of documents and something goes wrong, or I decide, oh, never mind, I didn't mean to do this, or I want to start over, I'm just putting exit app. You can also do reload. Is another option too, depending on which way you want to go. Exit app is going to completely close your script, where reload is basically just reloading your script. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, hopefully. So you don't really need that. As always, you can always click that little green icon down on your tray, right-click it, say, close script. This is just a quality of life thing, but I'm going to leave it as exit app. And just to point this out of nowhere, doesn't really have much to do with this video, but if you have a single command being used for a hotkey, it can all be put on one line versus doing it like this. Just keep it on one line. If you're doing just a send with an F3 or like a single command, you can actually make it one line. A lot of people don't know that, and they'll do something crazy like this, and they'll even put like a return there, which is completely useless, seeing that the script's going to close before it even hits that return. So instead of 3 lines of code, hey, let's make it 1 line of code. Random tip of the day. Alright, so like I said, we're going to do this in a few different ways. My hotkey is going to be F1. Obviously right here, you change it to whatever you want. If you want it to be Control-Shift-A, go for it. To each his own. We're going to do, we have a command here, send, and this little up caret is control. So that means Control-C, so copy, if you don't know that. I have that commented out just because that would be like, maybe you get an email with a file name or a folder name. Hey, find, or hey, delete, I don't know, file called Tom. You could just highlight this, press F1, and it'll automatically grab that and search for that file, and then you can have your code to delete it or whatever. So that would be useful in a situation like that. We're not going to really do that today, but that's an option right there just for you. I'll leave that in the description below in the code. We're going to clear out our clipboard here. Obviously, if you're doing this control send, you don't want to clear out your clipboard, so you would want to delete this line of code. I just have it there because we're going to be using an input box. Honestly, you know what? That code's completely useless. Get rid of it. So we're going to be using an input box. We'll come back to that here in a minute. We're going to basically search all folders. So we're not putting any type of input in, whether it's through copy-paste or through manually typing it in. We'll come back to that. So we're going to do a loop. We want to loop through all the files that are located here. So I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just doing the C drive. Obviously right here, put whatever you want. Clipboard is in case you do want to look for a specific file or folder name or executable or whatever. Obviously, since we're not doing anything, that's going to be blank. Actually, that's why I had that there. So that's going to be blank. And this is basically just a wild card. So it's basically saying, I don't care if it's a folder, an executable, a text file. I don't care what the extension is. Show me everything. Now, obviously, if you only want to find text documents, you can do that. So let's show an example of that here in a second. Now, it's every time it loops through each folder, it's going to give me a message box showing me a built-in variable, which is a_loop file long path. So it's going to show me the full path name. If loop path contains AMD, so I already looked on my C drive, I have a folder called AMD. So when it does run into that, it's going to give me a message box just letting me know that it found it. Now this is kind of where your code's going to go on what exactly you want it to do when it does find that specific file, folder, or whatever. You know, I'm just doing a message box. Obviously, you could do something like maybe you want it to automatically run that text file, or you can put, you know, file delete here. This is really, these 2 lines of code are where you're going to be customized what you want your end goal to be when it finds a specific file or folder, or for every single one it does find, then you just delete this if you wanted to do it on every single folder. And because we're in a loop and we completed our goal, we found what we're looking for, we want to break. So that's just saying exit the loop, which is right here. So it's going to jump down here. We'll add a message box here that just says all done, boss. That way you can see how the break's working there. All right, let's run this on this way, and then we'll show a few more ways. What is this program? There we go. Oh, it's already running. So I'm going to press F1, and we're getting that message box right here, and it's showing me I got a folder there called AVG, one called recycling bin. So we're just going to go through this, and we're waiting for AMD to appear, which should be here in a second. All right, there. So this contains, as you see, contains AMD right there, AMD. So we're going to push OK. So that if is going to equal true now, and boom. Because it equaled true, it's going to show me that message box, found it. And then when I push OK, it's going to continue, hit that break. And it just exited the loop and went to the end and says, all done, boss. Hopefully you can read that on the screen. The text is a little small. Trust me, that's what it says. So yeah, there's that. Now let's take it a little bit step farther. That's obviously searching an entire folder or a file, folder, whatever. It's searching everything. Let's save some time here. Let's add a input box. Basically, everything's going to work the same, except I guess I got to press F1. I'm going to have a little more freedom here, so let's enter AMD. You know, that's what I'm looking for. Push OK. Boom. As you see, it just skipped, I don't remember what it was, like 10 other folders before it got to AMD. It just skipped all those, jumped straight to AMD. That if's going to equal true. Found it. All done, boss. So if you want some manual input, it's definitely going to be faster. You're not going to have to waste your time going through all that crap. Now, obviously, if I had gotten rid of this message box, the loop would have just gone until it hit anyway. You know, this is just saving time. It's a good idea if you're doing like mass amounts of data or something crazy. But if it's a small folder, honestly, you don't need this. Just delete the message box, comment it out. It'll still go pretty fast. But I'm just showing you all the different options that you can do just in case you need it. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I believe, on this. Super simple, but super powerful. Can help you in a lot of ways, especially if you need to rename files, find something for a client really fast versus scrolling through, or, you know, honestly, the Windows search kind of is garbage. You type in AMD, and sometimes it's like, oh, loading, and it's like, really, you can't find the folder like instantly. So it's funny that AHK can be a little bit of a better solution than what Windows has built into it. So anyway, hit that subscribe button. Throwing out usually about 2 videos every week having to do with automation, usually specifically in AHK. Bell notification, so you know when that video comes out. You can learn something new ASAP. All right, everybody. See you on the next one.